Dear colleagues, this is a video training course produced by Quality and Destructive Testing, designed to prepare you for penetrant testing. The practical exam in penetrant testing consists of several stages. The first stage is a preparation for inspection. The second stage is the inspection itself. In other words, the application of PT materials. The third stage involves recording the testing results and evaluating the part in accordance with acceptance criteria. The fourth stage includes the actions that must be taken after the test is completed. Preparation for testing includes the following. First, we check that all necessary equipment and testing materials are available. A lux meter is required to measure illumination in the testing area. Sensitivity check samples are used to verify the performance of PT materials. A visual inspection toolkit is required to measure the location and dimensions of any indications found. A portable flashlight may be used to increase the lighting level in the inspection area if needed. Roughness samples are used to determine the roughness of the surface. A device for measuring temperature and humidity is also required. A set of PT materials, which includes a cleaner, a penetrant, and a developer, is the main set of testing materials. Cotton cloths are used to remove applied materials and to clean the surfaces to be tested. It is strongly recommended to use personal protective equipment, including a mask, safety glasses, lab coat, and gloves. All measuring equipment, as well as sensitivity check samples, must have valid calibration certificates. All certificates must be recorded and stored in a designated log. In addition, each item of equipment should be labeled with information indicating its calibration or verification status. The next step in preparation is to check that the test conditions comply with the requirements of the applicable normative and technical documentation. First, lighting conditions are verified. Then, temperature is measured, followed by humidity measurement, and finally, the surface roughness of the object to be tested is determined. Illumination is measured using a lux meter. The sensor is placed on the inspection surface, and the device is turned on. The display shows the illumination level on the inspection surface, which in this case is approximately 1100 lux. To measure temperature and humidity, psychrometric hygrometer is used. It measures the temperature and determines humidity accordingly. In this case, the ambient temperature is 22 degrees Celsius. The readings obtained from the dry and wet thermometers are different, and the difference between these values is 4 degrees. The corresponding humidity value for this temperature difference is 65%. For penetrant testing, the surface roughness must not exceed RZ20. To verify this requirement, a set of roughness samples is used. A sample kit is taken, and starting with the RZ20 sample, its roughness is compared with that of the test surface. By evaluating the tactile sensation in each case, it can be confirmed that the roughness does not exceed the allowable limit. The next step in preparation for inspection is the verification of PT materials. First, the PT materials must be from the same manufacturer and from the same set. In addition, they must have a valid expiration date, which is checked on the back of each can. The cleaner and developer are checked in the same way. Sensitivity samples are used to verify the sensitivity of the PT materials. To confirm their quality, the full testing cycle is performed on a Class 2 sensitivity sample. The inspection begins with decreasing the surface of the sample to be inspected. A cotton cloth moistened with cleaner is used to remove grease and any other contaminants from the surface. This step ensures that discontinuities are properly cleaned. The cleaner is then allowed to evaporate, which typically takes from 1 to 2 minutes. After the surface is dried, the penetrant is applied from 100 to 150 mm distance. It is important to ensure that the entire inspection surface is fully covered with penetrant. The penetration time is typically between 5 and 10 minutes. During this time, it is important to prevent the penetrant from drying, which can be achieved by reapplying it if necessary. After the penetration time has elapsed, the excess penetrant must be removed from the inspection surface using a cotton cloth. Special attention must be given to holes and cavities. If the penetrant is not removed properly, any remaining traces may negatively affect the inspection results. After removing the excess penetrant, the surface must be carefully inspected to ensure that no traces remain. If any traces are still present, they should be removed using a cleaner and a cotton cloth. The developer is then applied in a thin, even layer. Before application, the developer can should be shaken for 1 or 2 minutes to achieve a uniform consistency. The developer is then applied to the surface of the part. To achieve an even coating, spraying should begin and end outside the edges of the part. The recommended distance from the surface is from 250 to 300 millimeters. The thickness of the developer layer depends on the speed at which the sprayer is moved across the surface. After the first layer is applied, it should be inspected. The application process should be continuously monitored. The metal surface of the part should not appear glossy or visible through the developer. The developer should be applied in several thin layers until the surface is fully covered. Once the proper condition is achieved, the part is left under the developer for an exposure time of from 20 to 30 minutes. After the exposure time has elapsed, the inspection results are compared with the reference images provided in this sample documentation. If the floor pattern matches, the PT materials are considered suitable for continued use. The inspection of the actual test object then begins. First, the surface is checked to ensure that it is clean and free from contamination. The same testing procedure used for the sensitivity sample is then repeated. Two types of parts are inspected: a rod and a welded joint. After cleaning, it is necessary to wait until the cleaner has fully evaporated from the surface. The penetrant is then applied under the same conditions as before. The surface must be fully wetted, and the spray distance must be maintained between 100 and 150 millimeters. The penetration time remains from 5 to 10 minutes. After this, the excess penetrant is removed using dry cotton cloths. Attention must be paid to edges and holes. The surface is then inspected. If a colored background is present, it must be removed using a cleaner and a cloth. During intermediate cleaning, it is very important not to remove penetrant from the cavities of discontinuities. After cleaning, the developer is applied. The can should be shaken for 1 to 2 minutes to ensure uniform consistency. While applying the developer, the surface must be observed to control the thickness of the layer. The exposure time is from 20 to 30 minutes. To perform the luminescent penetrant testing method, additional equipment is required. This includes sensitivity reference samples like those used for dye penetrant inspection, a lux meter, a visual inspection tool kit, roughness samples, a thermometer, hygrometer, and personal protective equipment. Additional equipment includes a radiometer for measuring ultraviolet radiance and a UV lamp. The inspection conditions are checked in the same way as for dye penetrant testing, with the addition of measuring ultraviolet radiance. The stages of luminescent penetrant inspection are the same as for dye penetrant testing. First, inspection conditions are verified. Then, preparation is carried out, followed by the inspection itself. After that, results are recorded, and finally, post-test actions are performed. Illumination is measured using a lux meter, temperature and humidity are measured using a psychrometric hygrometer, and the quality of PT materials is verified using a sensitivity sample. The luminescent method is more sensitive, so Class 1 sensitivity samples are used. As with dye penetrant testing, the PT materials must be from the same manufacturer and within their expiration date. Their quality is confirmed by performing the full testing cycle on a Class 1 sensitivity sample. The procedure begins with cleaning and degreasing the surface. The part is then left to dry for 1 to 2 minutes. A fluorescent penetrant is applied to fully cover the surface. The penetration time is from 5 to 10 minutes. To confirm the quality of the PT materials, the operations of the complete inspection cycle on the sensitivity sample class 1 are performed. The procedure begins with removing contamination. The surface of the sample to be tested is degreased and cleaned. The part is then left to dry for 1 to 2 minutes. Then, a fluorescent penetrant is applied to the surface of the inspected sample. The surface must be fully covered with it. Penetration time is from 5 to 10 minutes. The quality of cleaning is checked with an ultraviolet lamp. There should not be strong background glow on the surface. The quality of cleaning is checked with an ultraviolet lamp. There should be no excessive background fluorescence. If background fluorescence is present, it is removed using a cotton cloth moistened with cleaner, and the process is repeated until acceptable conditions are achieved. After removing excess penetrant, the developer is applied in the same way as in dye penetrant testing. The can is shaken for 1 to 2 minutes, and a thin, even layer is applied. Evaluation of the inspection results is carried out in a darkened room under ultraviolet light. The inspection of the actual part is then performed in the same manner. The surface is visually inspected to ensure that it is free of contaminants. It is then degreased using a cloth moistened with cleaner and left to dry for 1 to 2 minutes. The penetrant is applied, ensuring full coverage of the area of interest. The penetrant remains on the surface during the exposure time. After exposure, intermediate cleaning is performed using a cotton cloth to remove excess penetrant. The quality of cleaning is checked under ultraviolet light. Once the cleaning meets the required standards, the developer is applied. The can is shaken thoroughly and a thin, even layer is applied. The part is then left for an exposure time of from 20 to 30 minutes. Thank you for your attention. We look forward to seeing you at our training center.